action.
All right. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman from Oregon is recognized.
Now, the President has declared a national emergency so that he can divert funds from the Pentagon and other agencies to deal with the national emergency on the border. The largest diversion of funds is going into a wall. Now, the President says the emergency is mostly about smuggling of drugs. Interesting. As we know from testimony when Carlos Guzman was tried and convicted in New York, the big drug lord from Mexico, his hench people and others testified that the cartels don't use people with backpacks through remote areas of the desert. That's too inefficient for a multi-billion-dollar business. What they do is they send trucks, which they've modified, semis, through our border control points, where we only inspect 6% of the trucks. And so they lose one every once in a while. So what? Tens of millions of dollars, doesn't matter to them, just the cost of doing business, kind of like taxes. So what's the President doing about the border patrol, control points? Nothing. We are not buying the new technology we need, reconfiguring them so we can inspect every truck that comes across the border. But they have another way of getting the drugs in, which they're using more and more and more. And that is they use semi-submersibles and other boats and ships to smuggle the drugs around on the coasts of the United States. Now, the Coast Guard is our prime line of defense against this. The retired last commandant of the Coast Guard said, we have actionable intelligence on 80% of the drug shipments coming into the United States, but the Coast Guard only has resources to intercept 20%. 20%. Now, just last week, the Coast Guard intercepted a semi-submersible which had 12,000 pounds of cocaine on it. That'd be a heck of a lot of people with backpacks coming across the border, as the President alleges. No, that's not the way they do it. Worth over $165 million. So what's the President doing? He's diverting money from the Coast Guard to the physical land-based border and saying that somehow this is going to help us stop the drug shipments. Here's the Coast Guard with a prior drug shipment that they intercepted, but now they've just intercepted another, and we've all seen the videos of them jumping onto these semi-submersibles out in the middle of the Pacific, 6-8-foot swells jumping on there and stopping and arresting these people. But what's the President doing? He's cutting the Coast Guard's capability of doing this. Back to the border. So, again, there's a few things we could be doing here. Well, look, there's something just like what the President wants, a big, tall fence with slats. People seem to be climbing over it. Here's the border control point. 6% of these vehicles will be inspected. Oh, here's a tunnel under it. Oh, there's a drone over it. Oh, and some of these people are really ingenious. They even are imitating the Middle Ages, using catapults to throw drugs over where there's an existing wall. So here we are, cutting, $6 billion from the Pentagon for critical needs of the Pentagon, for housing where troops are living in mold-infested barracks, for training facilities for the National Guard, for firefighting facilities on our military bases, from daycare centers for our troops' kids. And we don't pay these troops a heck of a lot of money. They can't afford to send their kids off base to daycare. But no, President says all that stuff's going to be cut because we got to build his stupid wall, which isn't even targeting the way the drugs are really brought into the United States of America. This is just an abysmally stupid waste of money, but he's delivering on a campaign promise. Oh, wait a minute. Mexico is going to pay. Who's going to pay? Mexico. Who's going to pay? Mexico. Oh. Then he had a phone call with the President of Mexico saying, I know you're not going to pay for it. We have this transcript too. But you can't say publicly you're not going to pay for it. We're going to pay for it. the taxpayers of the United States are going to pay for his stupid, useless wall, cutting essential things from the Coast Guard, who does real, dangerous work every day intercepting drugs, cutting funds from the military, who need these facilities for their troops and troop morale and for the safety and security of our troops, all for a stupid wall. I reserve the balance of my time.